What's up, guys? Today, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I realize I've been a little bit negative on my channel recently. So, today, I'm going to give you guys an informational video on how to get into the UFC. And this will apply to everyone because the thing I want to do the most is to help you guys out. So, that's what I'm going to do today. But first, my UFC 328 prediction video will be coming out tomorrow. I'm finishing up my tape study today. Yes, that's just a fancy talk of saying I'm watching fights, but I'm finishing up my tape study today. And by tomorrow, I should have all my predictions out. Get ready for a 100% prediction rate. So remember, stay tuned for that. But let's get back to this how to get into the UFC for anyone. The for anyone part, there might be some, you know, maybe not for anyone, but we'll get into that. Here's the forewarning this works best if you're 18 years or younger, but it can still work for anyone. Now, maybe if you're 50 or something, it might not work for you. But I'd say in your prime, anywhere from 18 or younger, all the way up to probably 35. Now, if you're 35, that's pushing it, but it should still work. Now, this does not guarantee success in the UFC. This only guarantees you will get into the UFC, but once you're in there, all bets are off. You may get cut after 2 fights, after 1 fight. You may take irreversible brain damage, get knocked out cold 5 times in a row by cans in the UFC, but this will get you in there. What happens next is up to you. And this clearly will not be good for your health. Let's hop into it. Step one, go to your local gym that has kickboxing and BJJ. I would say wrestling as well, but a lot of gyms don't have specific wrestling classes. They do have no gi BJJ, so that's what I'd recommend. They may make you start in gi, but try to get to no gi as fast as you can and do kickboxing classes, Muay Thai classes. But I'd recommend kickboxing over Muay Thai because Muay Thai stance leaves you open to takedowns a lot more, in my opinion. Kickboxing has a lot more footwork, head movement training that will help you in MMA. So I'd say take kickboxing and BJJ classes at your local gym. And don't worry about finding the best gym. Almost no local gym will be the best gym out there, but that doesn't matter. Just get some fundamentals under your belt, get a few years of training under your belt. Don't worry about the specifics. Most people don't really start developing until a few years into training with their specific style and everything. So just get a few years under your belt. Step two, that's when we'll start developing our style. I'd recommend a big, booming, brawling style. Most of these regional guys are just part time milkmen who are going back home to their families at the end of a long day. They don't want to show up at home or at work with a big black eye with a concussion, having to miss a few days off work, supporting their family of 20 as a 40-year-old man. They don't want to do that. So go to war with them. They won't be willing to go to war, and they will crumble quicker than you usually, especially on the regional scene. Imagine you're a 40-year-old man making 15 an hour. You can't show up to work with a concussion, 2 black eyes. You'll lose money. They don't want to do that. So they will not go to war with you when push comes to shove. If you're willing to do that, trust me, it will help you out. So develop your style around that. Step three, here's one of the most important steps. You need to blob up. Just start eating as much as possible. Start lifting. You want to build some good muscle as well as blob. Trust me, it will be much easier to get into the UFC if you're doing this as a regional heavyweight. Think about it. If when you imagine a regional heavyweight, you imagine an overweight, middle-aged man of a family of 22 who's not really committed to the game. They're just in there having fun, doing whatever. Would you rather fight an unranked heavyweight skilled man or an unranked lightweight skilled man in the UFC? So then imagine that even more outside the UFC. Imagine Chris Barnett's skill level versus Elvis Brenner skill level. Both of them on losing streaks in the UFC. Chris Barnett was cut, but when he was in the UFC, on losing streaks. But the skill level is insanely different. So I'd say blob up as much as you can. That is almost a necessary. And this next step will help you out with that. Sauce up. Being an in shape heavyweight puts you in the top 1%. Even in the UFC, all the in shape heavyweights, for the most part, I guarantee they're making it at least to the rankings. So imagine outside the UFC, being in shape will make you an instant top 1%. And saucing up is a great way to do that because we're trying to speed run this. We're not trying to take our time. You need to blob up, but I want you to be in a little bit of shape. So not a full blob. So sauce up. And it's not even cheating because there's no testing on the regional scene. Well, it is cheating, but you won't get caught. Matt, think about it. Why do you think so many heavyweights deflate once they get to the UFC? Look at Shamil Gaziev on the regional scene. Then imagine of what we know about him now. This is Shamil Gaziev now versus on the regional scene. All these heavyweights are sauced up on the regional scene. Then they deflate in the UFC because they're cycling off. They know the meta to get in. Step 5, again, one of the most important steps, stat pad and can crush. Find as many 0-20 guys as you can find. 0-50, 1-32, 5-75, whatever you can find. Debuting guys, and preferably older guys, 35 or older. Guys who have just gotten into the sport, are doing this for fun, say they did it, cross it off the bucket list. Find as many of those guys as possible as well. And the best part about this, you can improve while fighting. Think about Connor and Artem. In the gym, Connor would beat up Artem, but that helped him develop finishing instincts, timing, everything. You can do that in your fights, fighting some fat cans on the regional scene who have lost every fight they've ever had. Trust me, that's the method. And you won't take too much damage. Look at Khabib's record right here. Most of the guys he fought were complete cans outside the UFC. That's one of the reasons I believe why he did not take too much damage in the UFC. He had not built up scar tissue or weakened his chin on the regional scene going to war. He was fighting cans. He was not getting touched. So he didn't develop scar tissue. He didn't weaken his chin. He was fully ready for the UFC without taking too much damage. So I'd say try to get to 15-0 maybe. Some good number that'll make the UFC notice you and not care that you were only fighting cans. Because at some point, even if you're only fighting cans, think of all these undefeated prospects in the UFC. When you look at the record more outside the UFC, it was all complete cans. So that's what we want to do. Step 6, welcome to the UFC. By the way, Dana White Contender Series does count as the UFC. For the purpose of this video, I cannot guarantee you will win on there. You may go to war on the Contender Series, and that may be enough to get you into the UFC, or you may be a can with a good-looking record put in front of an actual good prospect to get highlight reel KO'd, but you will make it onto the Dana White Contender Series. But hopefully we can skip that. You can make it right into the UFC. And now, like I said earlier, do not expect longevity. Do not expect longevity. I'll say it one more time. Do not expect longevity. You may get flatline KO by a fat blob in the UFC in your very first fight and get cut after 2 fights in the UFC, but I can guarantee you will make it to the UFC. And that's it. That's the step-by-step tutorial on how to get to the UFC for anyone that wants to. And remember, my UFC 328 prediction video coming out tomorrow. 100% prediction rate coming soon. So stay tuned for that. Remember to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on free money when you put bets on every single fighter I say tomorrow. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.